The gray hues of Waterloo hung low over the town, reflecting the mellow, steady demeanor of its residents. John Keats, a man in his mid-40s with a generous spirit and an introspective quietude that was born out of years of navigating personal trauma, found himself in the middle of this muted palette. His history was marred by the pain of an untimely parental loss, a cavernous void that urged him on his journey of healing and self-discovery, often leading him down paths less treaded. John was a journalist, an observer of human nature, a quiet man who preferred the hushed whispers of the written word over the loud clamor of spoken language. As he navigated through the sleepy town of Waterloo, his new assignment, a seemingly innocuous investigation into the local art dealers, was a cryptic riddle waiting to be solved. At the heart of it was a decrepit warehouse, its crumbling brick facade a testament to time's relentless passage. Its silence spoke volumes, and its solitude sang a melody of desolation that resonated with his own solitude. "Been around longer than most folks can remember," a hunched local named Pete said, squinting under the weight of the midday sun. "Mighty strange, I tell you. All them fancy folks coming and going at all hours." John found Pete's words wrapped around his curiosity like a tourniquet, urging him to dig deeper into the enigma that this abandoned warehouse presented. He spent hours interviewing locals, meticulously cataloging their anecdotes, each statement a fragmented piece of the larger puzzle. The rustling of his notepad pages echoed the rustling of his thoughts, each one brushed with strokes of intrigue and a hint of foreboding. As days turned into weeks, the warehouse began revealing its secrets to him in whispers. Whispered conversations overheard in hushed tones, whispered sightings of art dealers who seemed more at home in the shadows than in the light, whispered deliveries of mysterious packages in the cloak of night. Each whisper was a thread, and as he pulled at them, he began to see a tapestry of mysteries unfold before him. One evening, in the dim confines of a local bar, he found himself across from a woman named Marie. Her eyes held a depth of knowledge that was at once intimidating and enticing. As they conversed over glasses of murky beer, her words carried a note of warning. "There's more than meets the eye, John," she said, her voice a hushed whisper over the low hum of the bar. "This ain't about art. It's about something darker." Her words echoed in his mind as he retired to his lodgings, the full moon casting long, ominous shadows over the town. In the quiet of the night, a sense of unease slowly crawled its way under his skin, like an intangible fog settling in around him. The once mundane assignment now bore the weight of the ominous unknown, and he found himself on the brink of a horrifying revelation. A new day was dawning in Waterloo, but for John Keats, the shadowy warehouse had set him on a path towards an imminent darkness that no sunlight could penetrate. As the new day began, the quaint town of Waterloo woke to the harmonious symphony of everyday life. Yet for John, each tick of the clock held a foreboding whisper of the darkness that Marie had alluded to in their moonlit conversation. The warehouse, once a mere skeletal relic of brick and mortar, had now morphed into a labyrinthine enigma that threatened to consume his every waking moment. He continued his investigations, each lead unraveling into an increasingly bizarre tapestry of clues that pointed to an underground network of art dealers. Each interview was a dance of shadow and light, each person a veil of secrecy and half-truths. His encounter with a man named Anton proved to be a pivotal moment. Anton was an art dealer with eyes that gleamed with an otherworldly brightness, and his words were enigmatic riddles that stirred the quiet waters of John's curiosity. "Art, you see," Anton mused, his gaze far away, "is a portal to realms beyond our comprehension, a conduit for minds capable of grasping the ineffable." John listened, his journalist instincts prickling at the edges of his mind. Anton's words were cryptic, laced with an eerie connotation that hinted at the something darker Marie had spoken of. As the conversation meandered towards the warehouse, Anton's demeanor shifted subtly, his gaze becoming guarded. When asked about the mysterious packages, he offered a cryptic smile and produced a small vial filled with a luminous substance that seemed to pulse with an energy of its own. "A gift from one explorer to another," he murmured, placing the vial on the table between them. The substance inside seemed to glow with an unearthly luminescence, casting a ghostly pallor over Anton's features. In the solitary confines of his room, John held the vial in his hands. The substance was unlike anything he had ever encountered. A radiant, mesmerizing elixir that promised a glimpse into the abyss of the unknown. A sliver of fear gnawed at the corners of his mind, yet the thirst for truth, the drive to unearth the secrets of the art dealers, propelled him forward. Days turned into nights as he observed the art dealers, their eccentric gatherings a bizarre spectacle in the quiet town of Waterloo. Their strange rituals and fevered discussions on the nature of art became increasingly unnerving as he delved deeper into their world. The vial was a silent companion throughout, a beacon that shed light on a world teetering on the edge of the earthly and the cosmic. Each art piece he came across was not a mere expression of human creativity, but a manifestation of something far more terrifying, a medium through which the art dealers communed with an entity beyond human comprehension. The realization chilled him to the bone, transforming the artistic fabric of Waterloo into a tapestry of cosmic dread. The unearthly secret of the art dealers was now laid bare before him, a communion with a dark, ancient deity, mediated through a mind-altering substance that threatened to unhinge the barriers of his sanity. As he gazed at the glowing vial, he knew he stood on the precipice of an abyss, the call from the cosmos echoing in the eerie silence of the night. The town of Waterloo, once a gentle, nurturing canvas upon which the rhythms of small-town life were painted, now lay under the shadow of a chilling revelation. For John, the secret unveiled had cast a veil of disquiet over his perception, tinging every aspect of his investigation with an uncanny resonance. The days moved with an unbearable lethargy, each hour laden with the ominous weight of the mysterious substance he had kept hidden. It pulsed with an energy that was at once seductive and terrifying, luring him towards the unknown depths of the cosmic abyss. His journalistic endeavors now took on a deeply personal coloration. He found himself grappling with the dual nature of his journey. The quest for truth and the journey of personal healing were now inseparably intertwined. The art dealers of Waterloo, once mysterious figures on the periphery of his investigation, now stood as harbingers of an ancient cosmic horror. They were not merely traders of art, but vanguards of an entity that existed beyond the realm of human comprehension. The art pieces that they traded were not mere creations of beauty, but conduits to the unnameable entity. In the midst of his investigation, he found himself in another moonlit encounter with Marie. The secrets he now held gave their conversation a charged intensity, and her words took on a new depth. "You've seen it, haven't you?" Marie whispered, her eyes reflecting the glow of the pulsating vial that he had brought out. The radiant glow cast an eerie light over the table, illuminating the unspoken bond of knowledge between them. "Yes," he admitted, his voice a mere breath in the silent night. "But it's more than just seeing, Marie. I feel it. It's like a call from the abyss." Their conversation meandered through the early hours of the morning, weaving a web of realization, fear, and curiosity. As he looked into the otherworldly glow of the vial, he felt an invisible line blur, the line between his reality and the realm of the unknown entity. This pull towards the unknowable became more powerful as he began experiencing inexplicable visions. His dreams were invaded by alien landscapes, cryptic symbols, and echoes of the dark deity. The more he tried to comprehend these visions, the more elusive they became, like mirages in the desert of his mind. The art dealers continued their clandestine activities, oblivious to the awareness he now possessed. He observed them, noted their fervor, and the way they seemed to lose themselves in their art-induced trances. The vial was a key, an artifact that bridged their world with his. John Keats, the observer, the quiet journalist, now found himself standing on the edge of a cosmic precipice. As he grappled with his reality, he realized that he was being drawn further and further into the realm of cosmic dread. He was not merely investigating a story, he was living it. He found himself consumed by an overpowering sense of foreboding. The call from the abyss had been heard. It was a summons he could no longer ignore. It was a call to dance with madness, a call to plunge headfirst into the dark depths of cosmic horror. As he gazed out into the silent streets of Waterloo, he knew he had to prepare himself for a terrifying leap into the unknown. The small town of Waterloo awoke to the new day, its rhythmic patterns of life playing out against the backdrop of the rising sun. Yet for John Keats, the day held no promise of warmth. He stood on the threshold of an inevitable plunge into the cosmic abyss, the pulsating vial acting as a beacon of his impending journey. His investigation, his exploration of the alien and the unknown, had led him to this precipice of sanity. The art dealers of Waterloo, their unholy communion with the ancient deity, their mind-altering sacraments, all pointed towards an inescapable confrontation with the forces of the abyss. The art pieces he had once admired now took on a ghastly form, each brushstroke a reflection of a dark, cosmic narrative. His interactions with the art dealers became a game of cat and mouse, each conversation laden with veiled threats and cryptic clues. "Are you ready to see the truth, John?" Anton's words echoed in his mind as he looked at the vial. His fear was palpable, yet the journalist within him yearned for truth, for understanding, for an end to the cosmic nightmare that had engulfed his life. In his solitude, John finally decided to confront the entity, to heed the call from the abyss. He consumed the glowing substance, and what followed was a maelstrom of the senses. He found himself transported to alien landscapes, confronted with the cosmic deity that had haunted the art dealers of Waterloo. It was an experience that pushed the boundaries of his sanity, an encounter that made him question his own reality. As the effects of the substance began to wane, he found himself back in the confines of his room. But the deity was not finished. It seemed to linger, its presence a smothering shroud that threatened to consume him. He could feel the pull of the entity, its call echoing in the recesses of his mind. The struggle for escape became a physical, tangible ordeal. His every step towards sanity was met with resistance from the entity. The art dealers, now aware of his knowledge, sought to prevent his escape, their devotion to the deity driving them to desperation. His journey towards escape was fraught with danger and suspense. His confrontations with the art dealers were intense, each encounter a test of his will to survive. But with every setback, he found an inner reservoir of strength that he never knew existed. In the end, he managed to escape the clutches of the art dealers. His last glimpse of them, a chilling tableau of obsession and devotion. He found himself back in the familiarity of Waterloo, the sleepy town now oblivious to the cosmic terror it housed. Yet, as the final chapter of his ordeal came to a close, he was left with a profound unease. He had escaped physically, but mentally, he was still tethered to the cosmic entity. The visions, the haunting call from the abyss continued to linger, a reminder of the omnipresence of the deity. He was left scarred, forever altered by his encounter with the unspeakable. He was free for now, yet the deity's call echoed in his mind, a haunting melody that reminded him of the insignificance of his existence in the grand cosmic scheme. His story came to a close not with a sense of relief, but with a chilling realization of the vast, unknowable cosmos that lay beyond our comprehension. The cosmic horror had been faced, the abyss had been glimpsed, and he was left with the haunting echoes of their encounter, a testament to his survival and a reminder of the horror that lingered just beyond the veil of reality. Thank you for tuning in. If you enjoyed our content, show your support with a like and subscribe, and stay notified by hitting the bell icon. Expect more cosmic horror from Eldritch Tales Factory, and feel free to explore our other stories. See you in the next video.